Wait a minute. No, he doesn't have a Twitter to get back 10 years ago, but he does have the podcast like 5 years ago.
Who cares? No, okay, to be fair, we have said some shit and we do not take that back.
I'm just saying. Like,
we do not take back half the shit we said.
You already took back your score for Halloween 4.
Yeah, I'm talking about shit that we have said before in the past. We don't take none of that shit back. Heads, we talk about the winners. Tails, we just go for gameplay trailers and like, announcements first. Heads. Let's talk about the awards. So, the Game Awards on. How ironic. Okay. So the Game Awards happened on Thursday, people, and we have the awards. We have the winners. So, for best, game, no, we're not gonna do Game of the Year yet. For most anticipated game, Elden Ring from Bandai Namco and from Software won. Best game direction went to The Last of Us Part 2, beating out Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and Half-Life Alyx, which honestly surprised me because it's Half-Life. Half-Life wins at everything. Best narrative went to The Last of Us Part 2, beating out 13 Sentinels, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and Hades. Art direction went to Ghost of Tsushima, beating out Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and Last of Us Part 2. Best score and music went to Final Fantasy VII Remake, beating out Doom Eternal, Hades, Ori and the Wisp, and The Last of Us Part 2. Audio design went to The Last of Us Part 2, beating out Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Resident Evil 3 Remake, apparently that got nominated, and Ghost of Tsushima. Best performance! Laura Bailey, who as Abby from The Last of Us Part 2, beating out Ashley Johnson, who played Ellie, Daisuke Tsuji, who played Jin in Ghost of Tsushima, Logan Cunningham, who played Hades, and my boy Naji Jeter, who played Miles Morales and Spider-Man. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. Games for Impact, Tell Me Why won, and good for telling me why. I'm not gonna make fun of him because I don't really know much about the game. Best ongoing game went to No Man's Sky, beating out Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, and Fortnite. No Man's Sky is high-key the Cinderella story of the decade, because keep in mind, No Man's Sky went from being a game that honestly no one gave a damn about because of how much of a lie that game was, into being one of the best multiplayer games right now. I low-key might buy No Man's Sky. Best indie game went to Hades. A debut indie game went to Phasmophobia, beating out Carrion, Mortal Shell, Raji, and Roki, which is awesome because I actually bought freaking Phasmophobia last weekend and I played it and it was awesome. Best mobile game went to Among Us, being Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact Legends of Runeterra, and Pokemon Cafe Mix. Community support went to Fall Guys. Best VR game went to Half-Life Alyx. I'm not surprised. Oh, innovation, accessibility went. I don't know what the award's about, but it went to The Last of Us Part 2. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure innovation for accessibility is probably for people who have disabilities and stuff like that. So
exactly.
Okay, that's fine. Last of Us Part 2 can get that. Best action game went to Hades, beating out Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, and Streets of Rage 4. That's kind of an upset because I'm like, damn, Doom Eternal lost? Seriously? Okay. Best action adventure game, specifically action adventure game, went to Last of Us Part 2, beating out Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori the Wisp, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Best RPG went to Final Fantasy VII Remake, beating out Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Best fighting game, and thank you Jesus, went to Mortal Kombat 11, beating out Grand Blue Fantasy which is actually a pretty good game, Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, One Punch Man, a Hero Nobody Knows, Under Ninth and Birth, EXE Late. Best family game went to Animal Crossing, no surprise. A Sims or strategy game went to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Best sports game went to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2, which is awesome. Best multiplayer game went to Among Us, beating out Animal Crossing, Call of Duty Warzone, Fall Guys Ultimate, and Valorant. Content creator, I'm not even going to talk about content creator of the year or esports, because again, there really is no reason for esports to be going on, but it is what it is. But I'll just say them real quick. Content creator went to Valkyrie, esports athlete went to Showmaker, esports coach went to Zonic, esports event went to League of Legends, esports game went to League of Legends, and esports host went to S Jokes to Porte, and esports team went to G2. There you go. But what people are talking about right now, game of the year. For game of the year, The Last of Us Part 2 beat out Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, and Hades. Yeah, so Last of Us Mania, baby.
Yeah, like if you want a summary, Final Fantasy didn't win shit except for best music.
And best RPG, and best RPG. Don't get it twisted.
Oh shit. Okay.
It beat out your game Persona.
Okay, so Final Fantasy won 2 things, but we're gonna keep as didn't win shit. Go to Tsushima didn't win shit except for best art direction.
Okay.
Except for best art direction. Last of Us won everything except the previously mentioned categories. Hades got robbed of everything. Animal Crossing was just happy to be there, and I forgot about Doom Eternal.
And Half-Life and also Half-Life Alex was best game direction. So Allo, because you probably played The Last of Us before we did.
I didn't play it at all.
Thoughts? Go ahead though.
Like, okay, well, we just know. As for Game of the Year, like because I'm not that. How to explain this? Because you called it like weeks ago when we were talking about the Game Awards that Last of Us 2 was just gonna win, like no question. I was shocked, honestly, but that's because I'm not that experienced. Like I just wanted, like, hope that something else will win. But even when The Last of Us won, like I wasn't pissed. But everybody else that I was watching the Game Awards with, they were pissed. Like we were all talking about why it shouldn't have won and shit. And for me, it's like it doesn't matter, because like why does winning Game of the Year even matter when we don't talk about the previous Game of the Year contenders? Like that's my thing. But as for all the other categories, it just felt, they feel like, especially in the Twitch chat of the Game Awards, like people were saying this is rigged, like this whole shit was rigged, and it's like hopefully it could have been like more diverse in the awards, like because I don't know, like compared to the other Game Awards, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there wasn't any other game in the previous Game Awards that just swept through the categories. I do not have any game that comes to mind that fits that description other than The Last of Us.
Not even Red Dead Redemption 2 like swept as much.
Yeah, and you and I were betting that it was gonna win Game of the Year, but it lost to what was it? Sekiro. No, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Sekiro, yeah.
Yeah, it was Red Dead Redemption or Death Stranding, if I remember correctly. Death Stranding came out 2018, right?
Death Stranding was last year.
Okay, yeah. All right, fine. We'll continue. Go ahead. I'll continue.
Yeah, but no, like I asked for I don't know, like the awards, like could really care less because I was more in there for the game announcers, which we're gonna talk about soon. But as for the awards, it's like whatever. Like it's the end of the year. 2020 is almost over. If we're going through how 2020 went, we should have expected The Last of Us to win. So like it's whatever to me. It's like I'm not pissed, I'm not happy either. I'm just like in that middle ground. Like, let's move on.
Okay. Kabuto, I know you were very vocal after the Game Awards.
Yeah.
I'm afraid, but thoughts?
It's like I can acknowledge that there are certain merits to Last of Us Part 2, and I'm not hating on the voice cast. I even spoke up in our podcast. All of us spoke up in defense of the voice cast.
Yes.
I'm just not a fan of the story. I really hate the story of it.
Okay.
So like, do I think it deserves to win some categories? Sure. But there are some categories where I think other games were more deserving than Last of Us Part 2. In some categories, especially, would have been, Ghost of Tsushima. I think Ghost of Tsushima was better at some of the categories, like let's see, art design and music. I'm trying to remember the categories. Wait, it won art design, didn't it?
Art design went to Ghost of Tsushima, yes.
Yeah.
Or art direction.
Yeah. Wait, art direction or
art
game
direction? Art direction.
Okay. Yeah, but there were other category, other directorial categories where Tsushima didn't win because Last of Us Part 2 won instead. And I think Ghost of Tsushima should have taken that instead. Voice acting, I agree with you. Miles Morales. Because
I'm gonna get there. Okay.
Because while I haven't played the second game. I mean, I literally have the game right here. Hold on, give me a second. While I do have the game right here, my only experience is watching that Miles Morales level that you played on your stream, when you had to fight against Rhino and Scorpion, I think it was.
Yeah.
And the voice actor, he was pretty good. His voice actor, he was pretty good as Miles Morales. And yes, Laura Bailey was a great MJ as well. As MJ. Laura Bailey is a great voice actress.
Yes.
No doubt
about
it.
Lovely
but
woman.
It doesn't take away from the fact that I hate acting. And no, it's not because she got such big arms. No, it's because her behavior exhibits a lot of psychological tendencies, and I tend to gravitate away from characters who have sociopathic tendencies.
Right.
Yeah, but no, as far as categories go, it's I'm just really skeptical, and again, I've been critical of the Oscars in the last decade or so.
Right.
So yeah, Game Awards is basically gaming Oscars. I'm pretty sure the games
You're breaking up.
but the ones that spawned the most marketing.
Okay. Alright, cool. Alright, here's my thing. I even talked about it. As a matter of fact, I'm just gonna recite what I said on Twitter. I'm not even gonna trip and then I'm gonna go into detail on what I would say. Okay. I wanted Final Fantasy VII Remake to win the game of the year against Last of Us Part 2 because it was the only game I played on that list. That list being Animal Crossing, Hades, The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima. Final Fantasy VII Remake was the only game on that category that they show for Game of the Year. It's the only game I actually played on that list. Okay. And there are other games that should have won. But if you didn't think The Last of Us Part 2 was not going to win, you've been living under a rock. The amount of controversy, backlash, behind-the-scenes antics with Sony and Naughty Dog, and the polarizing fan reactions were the biggest advantages The Last of Us Part 2 had on its sleeve. It literally caught the attention of the media outside of gaming when everything went down. And by that I meant what happened with Laura Bailey, the leaks and everything like that, and the backlash that fans gave both Naughty Dog and Sony. For those of y'all who do not remember, because apparently some quote-unquote angry person who was unhappy about the crunch time and all that stuff leaked the game entire story and how it ended. That was not how it was. Someone hacked them. It was the same dude who hacked into freaking Uncharted and Last of Us Part 1 and actually got some of the hold of people's accounts and all that stuff. Okay. But yeah, a lot of controversy happened with The Last of Us Part 2 right before the game was coming out, and this is right after the game got delayed indefinitely, and Naughty Dog as a response said, okay, this game's gonna be released in like, when did The Last of Us Part 2 come out? In like what? August, September?
Wasn't it June?
June. Yeah, it was around June. So yeah, that controversy and all that backlash is what gave The Last of Us Part 2 the advantage. Okay. And despite people, and I'm continuing, and despite people in my circle telling me that Ghost of Tsushima or Hades were being better when it comes to storytelling and narrative, think of The Last of Us Part 2 like an Oscar movie. Despite other movies being better, you know it's gonna win because it's an Oscar bait film. In the case of The Last of Us Part 2, The Last of Us Part 2 is an Oscar bait game, or Game Awards bait game. Here's an example: Titanic. In 1997, there are plenty better movies than Titanic, but somehow, someway, Titanic won the Oscars. Even once again, there are way more better movies than freaking Titanic. Another one, King's Speech won Movie of the Year at the Oscars back in 2010, 2011, if I remember correctly, even though Black Swan was clearly a better movie.
Honestly, King's Speech a little bit better, but both movies were low-key boring.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Speech was the scene when Jeffrey Rush was doing Richard III. That's pretty much it.
yeah, and with this, again, I have not played The Last of Us Part 2. I've only seen bits and pieces of it. That does not spoil some of the big things that happened in it and that people got really pissy about. And the only game I can tell you that I played is Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I'm almost done with the game. I'm trying to get it done, but fucking life, you're right? So, like, Final Fantasy VII was the only reason why I wanted Final Fantasy VII Remake to win. If it wasn't Ghost of Tsushima who won, then that's fine with me too. But like I said, now despite all that, I can say this: congrats to The Last of Us Part 2 for winning. And there you go. So that's the thing. Like, you and I, Kabuto and Allo and Chica and Jen, we all called it last weekend, saying that The Last of Us Part 2 was going to win Game of the Year and Best Game Narrative and Best Game Direction. Those are the big 3 awards of the Game Awards. Now, I'm not as mad as the internet is, because these awards do not dictate a good game. Because clearly, even if
Oscar bait.
Yes, even if The Last of Us Part 2 won, is that going to take away from the other accomplishments that all these other games have made? Like Ghost of Tsushima actually thoroughly giving it's thoroughly giving homage and giving credit to Japanese culture, and is giving Japanese culture its due diligence. Final Fantasy VII Remake, a remake that none of us thought was ever going to come out, including myself, actually blowing away expectations, despite the fact that Part 1 is just nothing but Shinra. Sector 7. You're legit trying to the entire game is like the first hour of Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation, but they expanded like hell on that, and that was a good thing because there's so much you could have done, but because of the limitations of the PlayStation, you couldn't do that. But Final Fantasy VII Remake got your back on that. Doom Eternal is a sequel to arguably one of the best games of 2016. There's no and you are an angry man trying to kill Satan and space Satan at the same time. As a Christian man, I am 100% on that. And then you got Animal Crossing, which was just like Allocate Indicate said, it was just there just to be there. This does not take away from any other accomplishments that the rest of the games that are on, best or nominated for Game of the Year, art direction.
Yeah.
And
you make a pretty good point. It's like saying because M. Night Shyamalan exists, the original Avatar: The Last Airbender somehow made worse just by the existence of this really bad live action remake. When if anything, it existing only superior the original version was, and just the same. It's like. Yeah, I am glad to some extent. I am glad that Last of Us Part 2 has a bad story, knows how not to write a good story, and you have all these other games to compare. But also, other people should be reasonably upset because of the fact that, because Last of Us Part 1 had such a good story, it should be Part 2 should also have a good story, and I understand that. But again, there's a lot of aspects to each video game. There's story, gameplay, graphics, musical score, voice acting, motion, all sort of direction, writing, all sorts of things that go into the making of a video game. And just because one game overshadows the others in just one category, which, let's be honest, industrial circle jerk.
I was a comment. I thought your internet went out.
It doesn't change the fact that all these other games, they're better, and that doesn't take it away. You have the right to like your thing. If Titanic's your thing, you do you, boo boo. If X-Men 3: The Last Stand is your thing, you do you, boo boo.
No, you don't do you. You go watch a better movie. Go watch Captain America: Winter Soldier.
No, but the point is you have the right to your own interests and opinions, but other people also have the right to disagree with your opinion.
Right. It's the American way.
And just like how one of my favorite YouTubers, what's his name, Disney Brain said, it's easy to say whether or not you like something. It's a bigger deal if you're able to actually rationalize as to why you like it. Like using the example he made, and I know you're gonna want to say take a shot, but I'm using this explicitly for academic purposes.
Get ready for your shots, people. Take a shot for educational purposes.
It's easy to say RPM is the best season of a certain show. Everyone thinks that. But here's the thing. Why is it the best season of said show? He made a very good argument. He made a very good argument about that. And I want to apply that same argument to this. It's if Ghost of Tsushima is the best game, yes, okay, it's the best game. Why is it the best game?
Okay. Real quick, Kabuto, you're gonna want to fix your mic. I think your internet's acting up because you kept freezing and stuff. So yeah. Anyways, Charlie, make sure you edit this part out. But I get what you mean though, Kabuto. I do. It's just that sometimes I'm not. It's not about you. It's it's just so many people got so pissy about it. I'm over here okay. You have it. I understand that your favorite game did not win. That's understandable. But please don't take it out on Laura Bailey or anyone else who worked on the game. Please don't. Just don't. Just take it out.
Especially don't take it out on the voice cast.
Yeah, please don't take it out on the voice cast, because then you go on to hear from me, because you will run this whole fade with me. Just saying.
Like I've said earlier in this podcast and every podcast in the last few months, I abhor Last of Us Part 2, but I'll still defend Laura Bailey